Hello, welcome to the fiscal year 2026 Assistive Technology Program for Farmers with Disabilities Notice of Funding Opportunity webinar. I am Courtney Simmons, a National Program Leader at the USDA National Institute of Food and Agriculture. Before I share the purpose of today's webinar, I'd like to share some relevant contact information with you. This slide contains contact information for individuals with disabilities to request reasonable accommodations. Language access services will be provided to limited English proficient individuals upon request. Anyone wishing to file a complaint can complete the USDA Program Discrimination Complaint Form, the AD 3027, which is available online. USDA is an equal opportunity provider, employer, and lender. This year, I am working alongside my colleagues, Drs. Crystal Kyle and Brenda Martin. We have a shared mailbox system in place to collect your questions. You may contact us at sm.agrability@usda.gov. Today, I will tell you a bit about NIFA. I'll also provide a program overview, describe what is expected of all applicants, detail the evaluation process, and identify tips for success, and then I will conclude with some helpful resources. NIFA, short for the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, is the funding arm of USDA's Research, Education, and Economics mission area. We invest in initiatives that ensure the long-term viability of American agriculture by providing funding and strategic leadership for competitive and capacity programs. The Assistive Technology Program for Farmers with Disability, commonly referred to as the AgrAbility, supports farmers with disabilities. The program's purpose is to connect American producers to affordable assistive technology solutions and services to help them safely return to or remain in agricultural production. The program's intent is to help farmers achieve a higher quality of life, which will lead to productivity and ultimately profitability. Farmers are the primary participants of the program, specifically farmers whose needs may be inadequately met by health, farm, and government service providers. For the purposes of the program, farm and farming are all-encompassing terms covering all aspects of the agricultural enterprise, including land-based agriculture, animal production, aquaculture, and so forth. Per the program's legislation, in FY 2026, NIFA will provide funding for two types of projects. NIFA will award special demonstration grants, and NIFA will also award one national grant. The demonstration grants support programs between state cooperative extension service agencies and private nonprofit disability organizations to provide on-the-farm agricultural education and assistance. The national grant will help to provide technical assistance, training, information dissemination, and other activities to support community-based direct service programs. Programs include 1, on-site rural rehabilitation, and 2, assistive technology for individuals with disabilities and their families who are engaged in farming or farm-related occupations, or in the case of veterans with disabilities, those who are pursuing new farming opportunities. That said, demonstration projects are what we commonly refer to as demonstration single state and regional AgrAbility projects, also known as SRAPs. SRAPs provide on-the-farm agricultural education and assistance. Projects may focus on producers in one state or multiple states, depending on the need, and available resources. So what are some examples of what TRAPs are expected to do? State and regional AgrAbility project teams involve community and healthcare professionals, extension service agents, and others in the early identification of farm and rural families that need services. TRAPs provide direct education and assistance to accommodate individuals with disabilities who engage in farming and farm-related occupations. TRAPS also provides specialized education programs to enhance the professional competencies of rural agricultural professionals, rehabilitation and healthcare providers, vocational counselors, and other providers of service to individuals with disabilities and their families who engage in farming. STRAPS help to mobilize rural volunteer resources, which includes peer counseling among farmers, and they promote cost-effective methods for accommodating disabilities in farming activities. The National Grant for Technical Assistance, Training, and Dissemination is what we commonly refer to as the National AgrAbility Project. The National AgrAbility Project team is expected to provide technical assistance, training, information dissemination, and other activities to support community-based direct service programs, which includes on-site rural rehabilitation and assistive technology programs for individuals, including veterans, with disabilities and their families. So who is eligible to receive an AgrAbility grant? Cooperative Extension is eligible to receive a demonstration grant. Extension must partner with a private nonprofit disability serving organization. Private nonprofit disability organizations are eligible to receive a technical assistance, training, and dissemination grant. Cooperative Extension is eligible to receive one new STRAP award per institution. There is no cost matching or cost sharing for this program. Matching resources will not be factored into the review process as evaluation criteria. If you do not have access to the fiscal year 2026 AgrAbility Notice of Funding Opportunity, you can go through the NIFA AgrAbility Funding Opportunity webpage. You may also go through the NIFA Funding Opportunity webpage as well as grants.gov. The links to the FAQs and resource supplement to the NOFO will be available on the NIFA AgrAbility Funding Opportunity webpage. Depending on when this recording is uploaded, the resources may already be publicly available. Remember, the grant application deadline is June 23rd, 2026 by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The maximum award budget for the single state project is $180,000. The maximum budget for the regional projects is $200,000. The maximum budget allowed is a change from previous years. We are allowing regional teams to request up to $200,000. The maximum budget for the national award is $530,000. When applying to the program, be sure to use the program code LQ. We will only award one new STRAP award to Cooperative Extension per institution. As you prepare your application packages, remember you will need several documents. The documents outlined on the screen represents key components of your application. While there are several other documents you will need to include, I want to highlight some of the other critical files that you must include. The project summary abstract, the project narrative, the budget, the corresponding budget justification, and the data management plan or the DMP. We have an application resource available on our webpage. Depending on when you're reviewing this recording, the link might already be on the NIFA AgrAbility webpage. In this supplemental resource, we provide an overview of the key documents and specify what is needed to prepare a competitive application. Whenever it is available, I encourage you to review the resource. Remember, or I should say, keep in mind, the resource is not a standalone, just like this recording. It is a companion resource, and it only provide a supplement of sorts to the AgrAbility Notice of Funding Opportunity and the NIFA Grants Application Guide. The SRAP's project narrative is limited to 20 pages, 1.5 spacing, and 12-point times New Roman font. The font size for the tables and figures should be no smaller than 12-point times New Roman font. Within the application, include headings of information that is outlined in the funding opportunity. Don't forget to include the project timeline, the logic model with expected outcomes and impacts, and evidence of institutional support. If you are not familiar with the Data Management Plan or the DMP, all applications must have a DMP. The DMP describes how the applicant will generate, use, share, and safeguard project's data. To learn more about the DMP, visit the DMP webpage and be sure to review the application resource supplemented that is available on the USDA AgrAbility webpage. All applicants must submit all documents electronically in grants.gov in PDF. NIFA will only accept PDF documents. Do not use third-party PDF builders or password protect PDFs. Moving along to the NIFA application evaluation process. All applications will be reviewed by 3 or 4 peer reviewers. The reviewers will provide written review of each application, highlighting the strengths and the weaknesses. The reviewers will use written reviews to discuss the proposal during the panel meeting. After discussing the proposal, the panel will come to a consensus on the final rating and ranking of the proposals. The evaluation criteria is available in the AgrAbility Notice of Funding Opportunity. I will cover some information on this slide. Remember, reviewers will summarize the proposal's strengths and weaknesses. When the reviewers read your proposal, they are looking at all of the information you provide, including the project narrative and the budget. If you are applying for the National AgrAbility Award, you should, at a minimum, respond to all of the required elements listed in the Notice of Funding Opportunity. You must justify the need for what you are proposing to accomplish. You must clearly describe the technical assistance, the trainings, and other activities that are needed to support community-based direct service programs and state and regional AgrAbility project teams and farmers with disabilities. The activities should include expected outcomes and desired impacts. The management plan should detail the fiscal and administrative oversight of the project and describe the applicant's strategies for managing the relationship between partnering entities. The budget and the budget justification should reflect personnel and project activities. The applicant should have a plan to communicate project outcomes to all stakeholders. If applicable, the reviewers will also determine how well the applicant meets the Center of Excellence standards. All applicants must include a data management plan that will capture how the team plans to generate, use, share, and store data. The evaluation criteria for the demonstration single state and regional AgrAbility project applicants is available in the AgrAbility Notice of Funding Opportunity. I just covered most of the information on the previous slide. But I do want to pull out something for your attention. Um, I won't restate what I've already mentioned, um, but something that I do want to highlight for the STRAPS applicants is the really the spirit of the AgrAbility program. Don't stray away from the program's intent. Remember, you are connecting farmers with disabilities to affordable assistive technology solutions and relevant services. All of the activities you describe in your approach should ultimately lead to cost savings, farmers having a greater sense of purpose, increased productivity, increased profits over time, successful fundraising, network expansion, successful marketing efforts, which should result in more AgrAbility clients and more referrals for services, and so forth. This year, we anticipate notifying applicants on the status of their applications in September. We will keep you updated to the extent possible. We appreciate your understanding and patience as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year. I want to offer some tips to help you navigate the proposal writing process. Consider the need in your state and whether the program's purpose and priorities align with the need. Based on the situation, is the AgrAbility appropriate or is there another funding opportunity you should explore? Do you meet the stated eligibility requirements? Are you a part of cooperative extension at a land grant university or are you partnering with someone at a land grant? Are you a private nonprofit disability serving entity? Do you understand the required elements that must be included in your project? Are you familiarizing yourself with the evaluation criteria and the review process? Do you have the necessary personnel in place to manage and complete project activities? Here are a few tips to help you along. Write clearly and logically. Use the notice of funding opportunity to organize your proposal. Prepare a strong budget and budget justification. Be sure to follow the guidelines in the NOFO and the NIFA grants application guide. Share your questions with the NIFA program team. Complete all required forms. Use tables and figures to illustrate important points. Do not exceed the page limits and adhere to the required font size. Your writing should appeal to someone familiar with the subject, as well as someone who is less familiar with farming and or assistive technology. The application package may need several documents as mentioned in the NOFO and the NIFA grants application guide. A complete and accurate application package helps reviewers in understanding the intended project and its requirements. Create a list of documents needed from the NOFO. Mark documents complete as you go along. The checklist will also help when you are submitting the documents in the system, as you can mark off when done. Having a checklist in place can help you identify and prioritize several steps. For example, you want to be confident that you have identified an appropriate funding opportunity. You need to assemble a team equipped with the necessary experience and expertise to complete project activities and ultimately meet the needs of the farming community. Create a timeline to ensure you meet all internal deadlines as well as the application submission deadline. Complete necessary registration and required forms. Include relevant documents and convert everything to PDF. Again, we want to have a checklist in place, or again, you want to have a checklist in place to help you stay on schedule to submit a competitive application before the deadline. Here is a sample checklist. No two checklists will be exactly the same, but I have included one for reference. Please don't diminish the need to have a checklist. It is easy to forget to include documents, and you don't want your Office of Sponsored Programs to submit your application and then you realize that you forgot to include something. So again, have your list in place and check off as you move along in the process. Something worth noting here, please follow instructions to submit the current and pending in all biographical sketches. The process has changed to complete and submit these two items, so if you have not already done so, be sure to review the information that is in the NIFA grant application guide. I captured this information in the sample checklist, but I do want to call them out separately because these are some of the most important but forgotten files. You need to include current and pendings because the reviewers need to know that you and other project personnel have the expertise, the experience, and the time available to complete project activities. Similarly, they need the bio sketches because that is another opportunity for applicants to show that they have expertise to carry out the project. The conflict of interest forms will help NIFA and the reviewers identify potential conflicts before the review period. This helps to maintain the integrity of the peer review process. The letters of support and commitment reinforce what is proposed in the application. The letters can underscore the need for the project, and they also assure reviewers that there is adequate institutional capacity, partnerships, and support from community stakeholders. It seems I can't mention the data management plan enough, but the DMP will show reviewers applicants have a plan to protect and use data. The next few slides contain resources that will assist you as you continue to develop your team and proposal. Here on the screen is a QR code that will take you to the AgrAbility funded projects. If you can't use the QR code, you can get this information on the program's webpage. Here are additional resources to keep close to you as an applicant and as an awardee should you receive a grant. You can find the funding opportunity on NIFA's funding opportunity webpage, as well as in grants.gov. There is also a webpage that highlights the competitive grants process. NIFA hosted grant writing workshops in 2023 and 2024. We have those recordings and other resources available on the training resources webpage. The NIFA policy guide and indirect costs webpage are helpful resources for grantees. If you have specific questions during the proposal writing period, feel free to review the resources as it gives you an idea of what is allowable. I've mentioned this several times already, but it won't hurt to restate. Review the NIFA Grants Application Guide as you prepare your submission. This recording is just one resource to help you prepare your application. The Notice of Funding Opportunity and the NIFA Grants Application Guide are your two most important resources. If you wish to stay connected, explore the upcoming events webpage and sign up to receive agency information through our newsletter, the NIFA Update. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions after reviewing the NOFO, please contact us at sm.agrability@usda.gov.